Isn't it a beauty? Let's take a closer look. So today I didn't get as much done as I had hoped, but I ended up putting in the purlins. I actually put 2 purlins in. I guess that would in some way be kind of like a roof ridge maybe or something. I'm not really sure, but what you'd call it, I'm calling it another purlin. And I framed out the door. All right. So let's talk about this situation. The door is pretty straightforward. It's just another wooden rectangle screwed to the frame. Pretty much all of building things is just screwing together or nailing together rectangles and triangles, so not much exciting there. I did add another board to the frame on this side, as I said I would in the previous video, because I just wanted a wide base to set the door on and screw it into. So the purlins are the big thing. So I used more 3/4 of an inch PVC electrical conduit. The span is about 25 feet, so I had to use 2.5 of them, so you can see where they're connected. And to connect the arches to the hoops, the half hoops to the purlins, I used a 1/4 of an inch drill bit and used 2.5 inch, 1/4 of an inch machine screws. And that's just what I had available. Some people use carriage bolts, but I just used what was available at my local hardware store. And I'll tell you what, that drilling these was awful. You can see I actually have extra holes because I tried to be smart and with the purlins like drilled the holes ahead of time before I put them up. And that was awful because they didn't really line up perfectly. So I ended up just screwing a hole through the hoop and then kept drilling through the purlin whether or not it actually matched up with the hole. So that's what I did for this top one. And I'll tell you what, it was crazy trying to hold this thing up. I ended up using twist ties to tie each one of these to the hoops so so basically it would just stay up. Like it might not even have been in the right place exactly. I would reposition it and try to put it in the proper place, once I started drilling. But I just went down, had it all twist tied up, then drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled to the end. So what it worked out perfectly is the door framing here. It's a place to put a door, but it's also helping to hold up the frame, just give it extra strength to maintain that 90-degree angle. And as it worked out size-wise, the purlin was a perfect fit between the top of the door frame and the ending hoops, half hoops. So they perfectly set, and that adds some extra structural integrity to the whole thing. And then I actually used some pipe strapping to just kind of tie the purlins, the hoops to the frame, just any way I could. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's over engineering, but any way I could fit it all together and make as many connections as possible, because the more connections you have, the stronger the whole structure is. That's just the way it is, because then each individual connection has to hold less of the stress of the overall structure. And again, I live in a place with a lot of snow, so I want this to be strong. And that's why I ended up doing a second purlin. Originally I was just going to do one, and I ended up putting it at the top because it fit in perfectly with the door frame. But I was like, I want it to be stronger. I want it to be even better. So I just went ahead and got 3 more pieces of electrical conduit. Well, actually 2, because technically I had a half left over. And put another purlin in down bottom. Now where I chose to put it, there's no science or insight to that. I literally just put it wherever it matched up with the step on my stairs. So I could basically hold the purlin up on one side with my hand and the other side with, not my stairs, my ladder. So basically that's why I chose this height. So, I don't know, nothing brilliant or insightful there, but it's pretty strong. So I kind of ran out of time for today because it's getting late and I got to move on to other things. But tomorrow I'm going to be building doors. I got, let's turn. I got some 2x2s, pressure treated 2x2s to make the doors. I originally planned to only do one door this year, but I figured, what the heck, I might as well just go ahead and put doors on both sides since I eventually plan to do that anyway. Because in the summertime I want to open both up to have, to air out and deheat, cool down the greenhouse in the summer. And I also got some strapping, some wood straps to hold down the plastic. I don't know if I'll get to the plastic right away. Maybe I have to wait until next weekend. So it's basically I've been building this greenhouse a weekend at a time. So basically every video is another weekend's worth, more or less. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It's coming along. It looks really strong. It's actually turning out to be a lot bigger and a lot better and a lot prettier than I thought it would be. Honestly, I thought this was going to be a disaster and quite an eyesore, but it's turned out to be a lovely structure. Lovely indeed. And just to give you an idea of how much space I'll have to grow, these are, I think, 10 gallon squat planters, and I can easily fit 2. Like, it doesn't even get in the way of the door. I can easily fit 2, and I have about 24 feet of space to create 2 rows of these things. So I could potentially fit, I don't know, like, well, a lot. A whole lot of them here. I don't even know if I have enough of these pots to fill up all the space. So this is going to be amazing. And this works out perfectly because I want to be able to grow things in the winter, but also, since I'll probably be growing my annual garden in those containers as well, just because I have a billion of them, at the end of next season, if I'm like, oh, I want this plant to keep going, I want it to extend its season, I'll pick it out of my garden and plop it in here for next winter. But anyway, that's all there is to really tell right now. I hope that you are subscribed to my channel so that you are keeping up with this build adventure. I'll probably have maybe 2 more videos in the build series. It depends on how much work I get done in any particular weekend. But yeah, so this time it's the Purlins in the door frame. Yay! Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for joining me on this journey.